Update, my entitled mom wants me to pay my creep stepbrother's student debt. Original post, I, 29 female, have an older stepbrother, Chris, 42 male, who has been a nightmare since the day my mom married his dad. Let me give a bit of a background. Our parents married when I was 4 and he was 17. Both of our parents are widowed. After their wedding, we moved to the U.S. since my mom had American citizenship through marriage. I was born in the U.S. too, but after my dad died when I was 1, my mom and I moved back to Colombia. Stepdad got his residency through marriage and my stepbrother because he was a minor. My stepbrother wasn't a big fan of me. My only memories of him were just constant bullying. He would be left in charge of me since he was studying locally and lived with my parents. But mostly his babysitting really meant things like locking me in the guest bathroom or the shed outside. He would steal my lunchbox whenever he was the one who dropped me off at school. He even began to harm my pets. I have an old cat that has been with me for almost 22 years. He tried more than once to run her over with his car. My parents never believed any of it. He's the classic golden child. My mom absolutely wanted a son instead of a daughter, so my stepbrother took priority over me. The bullying just kept getting worse and creepier. He had this long key for the bathroom. The door was designed in case it got locked by accident. One could open them by inserting a long stick or key through a small hole on the outside. He would use it to walk in on me showering. My underwear would disappear sometimes, and I know for a fact it was him. He also started taking pictures of me sleeping. One night I woke up to him taking a picture of himself next to me while I slept. I yelled, obviously. My parents came over, but he wasn't in trouble. I was for tempting him. I was 14 when this happened, and he was 27. My goodness, that's disgusting. No one helped me out, and he got bolder until he did something that I'm still in therapy for when I was 16. It got to a point where I called my biological half-older brother, Sam, 48 male and son of my biological father's first wife, to see if I could live with him and his wife, Sandy, during my last 2 years of high school. When Sam found out what was going on, he confronted my mom. My mom didn't care and just told him to take me so long he never asked her for money. Done and done. My brother and his wife became my legal guardians and took me in with my cat and the old family dog since I didn't trust leaving my living creature with Chris around. My parents never checked on me. My extended family from my father's side knew what was happening, and they immediately got together to ensure that I could finish school well and go to college. I don't know my maternal family at all. Thanks to my paternal family, including Sam's mother and her family, I got my bachelor's and master's, no student debt, and I work as a nurse practitioner. I still live with Sam, his wife, and their 2 kids, and I pay a small rent. Neither Sam nor his wife expected me to pay anything, but that's the least that I can do for 2 people who have taken care of me for 13 years. For anyone wondering why I didn't move, it's incredibly expensive where I live, and Sam insisted I stay with them until I save enough to buy my own home. Things seemed okay until my mom messaged me recently. She had not messaged me since I was 18 when she told me that she no longer had any responsibility to me. In this message, she sounded overly friendly, telling me how she missed me and asking how I was doing. I was a bit creeped out but decided to be nice, telling her about what I had done since leaving her care. She seemed very interested since apparently she knew that I was a nurse, but not what kind I was. She began asking me about my salary. I didn't tell her anything about it, but it was enough to pay the bills. My mom then began texting about Chris and how he has barely been making any money due to his student debt. Apparently, Chris never finished a degree, jumping from career to career. He is now working in my stepdad's used car business as a salesman, but most of his pay went to pay the substantial student debt he got over the year. I told my mom how sorry I was that Chris was having a hard time and wished him luck. That's when my mom finally got to what she wanted. She texted me I needed to pay his student debt so he could finally make and begin the journey he deserves like the man of the family. I just turned off my phone. When I got home, Sam was surprised since I was usually the last to arrive. Sandy wasn't home yet. I told Sam what had happened and showed him my mom's text messages. I don't think I've seen Sam this angry ever. He told me to block my mom, stepdad, and Chris if I had not done so yet. After talking with Sam and Sandy, I called my boss to ask for the next day off and the one afterwards. This gave me a 4-day weekend, including the days that I'm normally off shift. My boss was more than okay with this and told me to take it easy and let her know if she could help in any way. This backfired because the next day my mom and Chris decided to come to Sam's house to speak with me. I was alone since Sam and Sandy were at work and the kids were at school. I immediately called Sam and told him what was going on. He told me not to open the door and that he was on his way. My mom spent the whole time screaming that I owed them for raising me and that my sweet brother deserved the money. Oh, goodness. Chris was going around trying to find a window or a door unlocked. There wasn't any since the windows have safety bars and the only other door is the closed garage and one in the yard. The yard one was locked, and just in case, I locked the one in the garage. I won't post what he called me when he saw me from one of the windows, but basically, he pretty much told me that they have thrown me away when I was a baby since I grew to be a bee. He pounded in one of the windows so hard he actually cracked the glass. Eventually, he gave up and went back to the front door, clearly trying to kick it down. I didn't have anything to worry about. The door was a security door, but I was still very scared. Between yelling, threatening, pleading, and insults, I finally heard Sam screaming to them to get lost. I only saw things from the window. Sam pretty much dragged them both off the porch. It got to a point I couldn't hear, but I saw my mom and Chris pale and looked scared before they pretty much ran to their car and drove away past the legal speed limit. Sam came in a bit afterwards and immediately went full-scale overprotective brother mode, asking me if I was okay. He kept saying sorry and hugging me. Sandy arrived almost immediately after, and she looked like she was about to commit a felony. Apparently, Sam threatened them with filing charges for what he did to me when I was 16. My brother's ace, my stepdad, was willing to testify against his own son. That seemed enough to get Chris off our backs, but not my mom. Since then, it's been 3 days and my mom has sent texts, called nonstop with various numbers, and rallied a group of people who were supposedly my maternal family to harass me for money. She claims that money should legally be hers since she's my mother, that it's my late father's missed child support. Sam is helping me find a lawyer to get a restraining order on my mom, and I plan to get my stepdad's offer to testify by pressing charges against Chris. I can't say I can forgive him for not stopping his son, but I appreciate he's at least trying. I don't know the details, but Chris did something to a relative of his dad, and since then, they had a really bad fallout. I took my boss's offer and will be on vacation for a few more days. But here it is. My vacation days are getting eaten up, and my therapist might need a therapist afterwards. Thankfully, my dark sense of humor and supportive paternal family are keeping me somewhat sane. What a toxic family. Now for the comments before reading the update. Love, take a breath. You've been through a lot in a very small amount of time. Breathe. I know you need it. I'm so sorry your own mother is doing this to you. It sounds like Sam and Sandy are helping you do everything correctly, though. I'm so glad you have them to back you up. This person says, as someone said on here, take a deep breath and don't let any of them intimidate you. As a matter of fact, send them all a group message stating, if they continue to harass you in any way, shape, or form, you will go to the police and press charges against them for harassment by communication. While you're at it, tell them everything, and I mean everything that this little demon spawn did to you growing up, including that story that you shared of him peeping in on you in the shower and whatever other evil thing that he did to you at age 16. I believe it was, and say to them, is this the person that you want to protect? If so, then I want nothing to do with any of you. Make it very clear to them that if they continue harassing you like this, you will take whatever legal action you need to do against them, just as you were going to do against your mom and your creep stepbrother, and make them all pay. Please know that you are being prayed for, and if you need anyone to talk, I'm here. This person says, I'm guessing the thing that happened when you were 16 is classified as sexual assault. I'm sorry this is happening to you, and congratulations on being a nurse and a practitioner. My mom was a nurse since she was 18, and she had 10 letters after her name, as well as being a midwife, a neonatal nurse, a children's nurse, and she even worked at Great Ormond Street in London when she was young. She had twins, and then once we were old enough, she went back into nursing, and even did palliative care at university. Unfortunately, I lost her to type 1 diabetes, which had made her career as a nurse extremely difficult, and she passed away on October 22nd. I'm immensely proud of her accomplishments and everything that she did. I have her 5 nursing badges in a display frame. Next time, pray that there isn't a next time. Call 911. Also change your email, your passwords to all your apps, ESP, anything financial. Get a credit freeze on all 3 credit bureaus. If you haven't done this, get identity theft protection, Experian, LifeLock, etc. I have all my credit cards, driver's license, passport, and bank accounts constantly monitored for any suspicious activity. I hate to say this, but get some mace or bear repellent to carry. Make sure whatever personal items you carry is locked and secure while at work. Get an anti-theft travel purse like Travelon so it won't be easy to grab your purse or lift items from it. God bless you for having the great courage to live through all this. I wish you all the best. Now for the updates. Update 1. I didn't think I would be making an update so soon, but my mother is unrelenting. To the people who were so kind and gave me advice earlier, thank you so much. It really helps to have people show kindness in difficult days. I follow with the advice to freeze my credit, and I will be getting a new phone for personal use. We'll have to keep my old phone for work for a little while. Now to update on the situation. We are going through with pressing charges and might do a civil lawsuit for 2 years of child support my mother owes. We are not sure yet of her chances on it, but my brother Sam wants to go scorch earth. As for my mother, she began a new campaign. She's been posting about me false accusing my stepbrother Chris of sexual assault. She's been accusing me of being a temptress that tried for years to sleep with my brother and even got a few relatives, who I just found out are my aunts, to join in saying they were witnesses. I never met these women in my life. My stepfather actually commented in her post saying my mom was lying and accusing his own son of being a pedo. That's how I found out what was the big fallout between them. Stepbrother went after one of stepfather's nieces. I don't know the girl's age, but she has to be about my age if I'm thinking of the right person. If not, she's younger than me. A lot of my biological father's relatives have also gone into social media to call out my mother, saying she had always claimed she was an orphan and had no family, while now she has 3 sisters. It's a mess. I'm just watching for now and being a stay-at-home aunt. My nephews love it since we go out after they finish homework for crazy shenanigans. My boss has helped me with some paperwork for leave of absence, and I should be off for about 6 weeks. After I'll be mostly working from home for a few weeks. Now the greatest update, and to be sincere, things are not fun, but it's nice to spend time with the kiddos at least. Also, forget this. No, my mom is not likely sleeping or in a relationship with my stepbrother. Some people had mentioned this. My mom always wanted a son. I was a disappointment because I was born a girl. She treats my brother like he's her real son, and I think she truly loves him as a mother. She made sure to tell me how disappointing it was for her when I was born. Final update. So this might be my last update on the mess with my mother and stepbrother since we're finally starting the legal fights. But I finally had a good laugh. In my previous posts, I haven't said a lot about my biological father. He died when I was 1 year old, so I never really met him. I have one picture of him holding me when I was an infant. I mostly know him from stories from his family. What I do know is he was a man of means. He had lots of assets that he had carefully divided in his will. Not like so rich I'll never have to work type, just rich enough that I would be able to live comfortable so long as I worked and did right by my finances. I was not aware that he had made sure to leave me with anything. Neither did my half-brother Sam, his son, with his first wife. I'm the daughter of an affair partner turned second wife. My understanding was that anything I inherited was wasted by my mother to buy things for her predator stepson, who she prefers to me. He was my abuser growing up. In her words, daughters don't need inheritance. Just marry a wealthy old man like me. Well, since my mother and Chris have been harassing me lately, we drove to my dad's lawyer to get some things we need from my dad's records for the lawsuit we are planning. He's a sweet older man, kind of looks like my dad a bit, and was my dad's best friend. When we met, he received me with a hug and told me how happy he was finally to meet with him. His wife was there too, and she also gave me a big hug and told me we needed to have dinner at their place. Once we had all got caught up, we found my mother had been faking receipts to get money from my trust, a lot of it. Some of it from when I was under Sam's guardianship, and she's not the executor of my trust. She had to provide receipts for anything. She's been sending receipts for me because I'm still in medical school. I finished school in 2021. Well, her meal ticket not only got torn, now she's in big trouble. Because this is fraud and basically my hands are tied about pressing charges or not. She claims me as a dependent on her taxes, so my dad's lawyer would refund her for her expenses. He basically told me there's just no way we can keep this just in civil court. He had to contact the IRS and the police. Doesn't help that she's been using my social security number for something she shouldn't. Thank you for the people that advised me to freeze my credit. You guys saved me there for sure. I probably won't be able to post for quite a while, and I'm going to be incredibly busy. I'm just mentally exhausted about how much has happened. I wouldn't have done anything about my mom using my trust if she had left me alone. I wouldn't even know about it because the trust is set for me to take over it with proof of marriage and graduating from college. And since I didn't know about it, I never sent the required paperwork to take control. She would have milked it dry if she left me alone and just kept sending fake information. I'm in the process to get what's left of my trust. There's quite a bit in it and should be enough for me to get a house or a condo if I mix it in with my savings, and still have some left over to invest or do other things safely. I might wait for a while to buy anything though. I don't know how safe it would be since my mom still has my social security number. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom's husband he could try growing up and not being such a dick? My mom has a messy history and gave me a very messy history as a result. BG on my mom. She was married for 11 years. They had trouble having kids. Turned out the husband had a very low sperm count. I think that's the right terminology. They tried in vitro fertilization and other fertility help, but my mom could not get pregnant. They were depressed. Her husband didn't want to use donor sperm to have a kid. He didn't want to raise a child that's not genetically his, so my mom decided she would find a donor behind his back, aka she cheated on him, with guys that apparently looked enough like him so that she could pass for the kid off as his. She confided in her sister, my aunt. It was 3 guys, one-night stands with each. All of them had the same physical characteristics of the husband. He was overjoyed when she got pregnant, and then my aunt told him the truth. He had had doubts but felt bad about accusing her of cheating, but hearing it was enough for him to say that he wanted no part of this. They did a DNA anyway because there was a chance I was his, but I wasn't, and he divorced my mom and did not take any kind of role in my life. My mom never got over her ex. She has loved him all this time, and I'm 17 now. I have met her ex. She set up these circumstances for him to see us in the hopes that he would fall in love with me, but he never wanted any part of it. And then he got married again and actually had a bio kid, apparently confirmed with DNA. Then when I was 11, my mom got remarried. She doesn't love her husband. I'm not even sure she really likes him. She's trying to get over her ex. Her husband knows this. He also knows she slept around to have me, and she hates it, and I get the brunt end of it. He's always been such a dick to me. He acts like I wanted to meet his mom's ex and be paraded in front of him like some sort of doll. He gets annoyed when I ask my mom for any info on the guys she slept with. I would like to know who my bio father is. He gets annoyed that my mom put her ex on my birth certificate. He hates that I have the ex's last name. He brings these things up so much, as well as telling me that I should be nicer to mom because when she mentions her ex, I tell her that she should get past it. Mom's husband was in such a bad mood on Friday because my mom found out her ex and his wife and kid had moved away. He told me that I should change my name on the birth certificate now and stop holding on to some random guy's information. I told him that I'm 17. That's not something that I can change yet. It's up to his wife. He told me I'm always so difficult and always rubbing his face in shit. He told me that I could try being more understanding. I told him he could try growing up and not being such a dick to me when I don't have control over shit when my mom does or has done in the past. He told me that I have no right to speak to him, an adult like that. Am I the a-hole? That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.